What is up, everybody? Joe Carlton here with the Sports Affiliation. I'm joined tonight by Josh Bolin, Dan Jewett, and Joey Brown, three of my favorite NFFSC high-stakes players, fellow high-stakes players and friends. We had these boys on last week. We're here again tonight to give some Week 3 reactions. I'm going to start off. We're going to get right into it because we're only going to go right up until just before kickoff. I'm going to start right off with the Indianapolis Colts and Daniel Jones and Jonathan Taylor. This team looks really good. This was one of the teams I actually predicted that was going to be like my Cinderella team, a surprise team, and it's actually coming to fruition. They're currently undefeated. And I want to talk about Daniel Jones. If you got him in your fantasy draft, you got him real late. I know I got him in the 16th round of my Scott Fishbowl draft, and I'm enjoying him right now as my QB2. And he actually pretty soon might only be my QB1 because my other quarterback is Dak, and I'm not feeling too confident about Dak with CD, missing 3 to 4 weeks now. So we did get that news today. CD is out for 3 to 4 weeks. He had the high ankle sprain, had no business being in the backfield. But maybe one of you guys will talk about the Cowboys later on. But let me get back to Daniel Jones. So he's got he has the rushing upside. He does have 3 rushing touchdowns. He only threw for 1 this week, 228 yards. The passing yards are there. If we look at his passing yards on the season, he does have 272 and 316 in the first 2 games. He's got about 50 rushing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. He's giving you a 34.2, a 28, and a 20. I think that he is a low-end QB1 rest of the season. I like Michael Pittman. I think Michael Pittman is the most consistent receiving option on this team. He did have 6 receptions, 73 yards and a touchdown last week, 19.3 PPR fantasy points. He does have 19 targets through 3 games, 16 receptions, and 193 yards and 2 touchdowns. That is, another guy that was going in like round 7, 8, 9, depending on, where you drafted. But Pittman, Jones have been reliable, and I mean Jonathan Taylor. What else can we say about Jonathan Taylor? He's looking like this year's Saquon Barkley. He had a monster performance, 3 touchdowns, 102 yards. Let's see what else we got here. He's given us, about 73 fantasy points so far through 3 weeks. 171-yard game, 165 yards, 102 yards. And he's also chipping in the passing game. He does have 3 receptions in week 1, 2 receptions in week 2, 3 receptions in week 3. He's getting, he's got 9 targets through 3 games. He's got a total of 86 yards. So he's giving you those bonus receiving points. So, starting the show off with a positive note, Indianapolis Colts have been a pleasant surprise. And those 3 guys I'm in on for your starting lineups the rest of the season, pretty much. JB, I'm going to pass it to you, man. Right. Give us a reaction. Anything you want.
Other than my Bengals playing awful yesterday, Cleveland Browns, man, their defense is legit. And getting Judkins in there yesterday, he looked good. And when your defense is there, fighting for you all game, created opportunities for them to get a win. So I was impressed by that because I knew the Browns had a good defense, but I thought that the Packers would come out with I'm going to say an easy win, but I expected the Packers to to handle the Browns. That was my survivor pick this week was the Packers, and I went down on with that one. So
you and a bunch of other people probably.
Yeah, so I'll give credit where credit's due. There, Browns defense is going to make up for a lot of their offensive woes playing tough like that.
All right, Joey.
I guess one positive note I've noticed, in the Chargers and Broncos game, I mean, Quentin Johnston's for real. I mean, he was free in these drafts. I mean, he's got 24 targets in 3 games. I've never seen that coming. I mean, and he's one of them players you're still scared to put him in the lineup. I mean, he's hard to put in the lineup. I mean, you shouldn't be. I think he's everyday starter now, but I mean, 24 targets. Is he the one? I mean, he's killed McConkey's value a little bit. That's high.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, how you guys feel about McConkey now?
We have a team with McConkey and Quentin. I think we got to make the switch this week.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
yeah,
Dan.
With what Keenan took from between what Keenan's taken on the targets and then with Quentin stepping up and actually catching the ball. I mean, he's had opportunities in the past. He just couldn't catch the ball. And this year, I mean, I don't know if he's put in the work or he's got some better gloves or what's going on, but he's definitely stepping up.
Dan, you gotta give us something positive, negative, whatever you want.
Let's start out positive.
Yeah, that's what I was
positive
saying.
With a negative twist to it. I love what I'm seeing with the Rams. They're 1 field goal away from being 3-0. Last week, Joey said Matt Stafford's a great pickup. I think he hit the nail on the head there. But for fantasy, they're just exactly what you want. You know what you're getting in Kyron. He had a pretty solid game. You know Corum's his backup, so you can handcuff him there. Devontae Adams is just going to eat up red zone targets. They're really looking for him down there. But they were talking on XM this morning. I was listening. I can't remember who it was, but if we redrafted right now, would Puka be the first receiver we took? I think you could argue him, St. Brown, Neighbors. I mean, Chase has issues right now. Jefferson has issues. But, man, Puka is just killing the targets. And if he gets a couple touchdowns to go with it, he might be the number 1 receiver at the end of the year. I like what I see with the Rams.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they both have 29 targets apiece, and the next person down doesn't have very many. So it's nice and consolidated. So, like you said, it's an offense we like for fantasy football for sure. So moving on, I'm going to bring up something negative, and it's because I have a lot of shares of them this year. I expected huge, big things out of them, and we've got nothing but disappointment. And I don't know how to feel going forward. And that's Chase Brown, running back Chase Brown, Cincinnati Bengals. I thought Burrow Brown stack was going to be a thing of a thing of beauty this year. That was a stack you were going to want to have, especially down the stretch. And he's just been so disappointing. He's this past week he had only 3 yards on 10 carries. He's still getting the snaps and he's involved in the passing game. He salvaged a day with 4 receptions. I shouldn't say salvage a day, but he's getting 4 receptions. He got 4 receptions. So, I mean, if he can put together some respectable rushing numbers, I mean, maybe we can get a decent floor out of him going forward. But those 20 to 30 point ceiling games seem like way off in the distance right now. He's it's just, I mean, I don't know what to make of it really. 21 carries for 43 yards one game, 16 carries for 47 yards another game, under three yards per carry. The offensive line looks awful. They're getting pushed back. That's probably half the reason why his average is the way it is. I'm not feeling good about it. I wasted 2nd round picks on him. For the most part, early drafts, you could get them at the beginning of the 3rd, but even still, that's going to kill your fantasy team if you can't find a replacement or if you can get it. Hopefully you can get it going. What are your thoughts on Chase Brown, guys?
I'm not giving up on Chase Brown yet. Homer, my Chase Brown's jersey is on my pool table right next to me right now. I'll go get it if I have to. But remember how Zach Moss started last year? They kept giving Moss the rock. The Bengals suck at play calling to start the season. By week 5 or 6, they figure it out. Chase Brown halfway through the year was catching a ton of passes. It's going to be tough the next couple weeks, but they're going to have to do it, or it's going to cost Zach his job.
Shout out to Pete Nova. Pete, appreciate you reposting this, man. I refuse to ask you to do it. It's awesome that you did it. I was trying to telepathically tell you all week. I hope Pete reposts it because, man, when you repost it, the people tune in. So I appreciate you big time for that, Pete. And shout out to Kala too. We love you, Kala. Thanks for tuning in. All right. So JB, got any negative?
I'll piggyback off of what Dan said there on Chase Brown real quick. I'm not as confident. I know we'll get a little bit more creative with our play calling. Our offensive line is bad. It's not even fun to watch. I came on your show last week, said it would be okay with Jake Browning, that he's a gunslinger. He's still going to get the guys the targets. T and Chase would be okay. But I'm not feeling so confident in that. And, hopefully they get an extra day this week. We're on Monday Night Football, so the whole world can watch us get, boat raced by the Broncos and their defense next Monday night if we don't pull it together. So a negative take that I have is, saw some stuff on some of the defenses that are being ran against the Raiders, and Genty's not really putting up the big yards that, we're drafting him in the first round or real late first round, early second round in the high stakes. And, he's struggling against these defenses that are being handed to him to really be able to move the ball down the field. So I don't know. That's a take there. I think me and Dan have him once, but still, I was pretty excited to get to see him run. So hopefully he gets that figured out, starts busting off some long runs.
And some catch too would be nice.
Yeah.
Joey, you got anybody you're worried about?
Luckily, I only had one share of him, but he was steaming up. Calvin Ridley's got 8 receptions in 3 games, and he was moving up in the draft boards in late August, early September. Well, in August he moved up probably to 4th round. I mean, you have to be just thank the people who took Ridley over Odunze like I did. Odunze should have been that pick. We all see it now, but.
Yeah, right. I agree. I wish I had more Odunze myself. But yeah.
Going back to Chase Brown too, I think they're going to have to reamp the offense. A lot of dump off passes, get him involved more in the passing game, maybe work it around to Jake Browning's strengths. Maybe. I mean, it may hurt Higgins and Chase, and hope for garbage time production like we said a while ago.
Well, I mean, 4 catches in a 48-10 game. From the middle of the first quarter on, it was garbage, and that's where the Chase Brown should have been excelling yesterday. And how they didn't figure out how to get him dump off passes and create stuff. I don't know. It's worrisome.
And that was a pick. I've even had conversations with Joe on the phone when I was. You all of us kind of map out what we want to do. In that second round, I always told Joe, I said it's either Chase Brown or Jonathan Taylor. Luckily for me, Bullet and primetime, I went JT. I pulled him up. Nice. I had the 10th pick, so I took him 15, 16 or whatever on Jonathan Taylor on a turn. I pulled him up, but it was between them two. That's who I was going with in the second round. But it worked out so far. But I mean, it's still early in the season. He could go down any time too. But
my love for the Bengals costed me Jonathan Taylor shares for sure. So
us too.
Yeah. Dan, anybody you worried about?
Are we going to bash the Bengals for 30 minutes, guys?
No,
rightfully so. How about, you could pick either side of that Texans-Jaguars game. There's a lot of guys to worry about that game.
Yeah.
I won't go into depth. We've hit Jaguars pretty hard the last couple of weeks, but CJ Stroud, man, like he's got the weapons. The rookies aren't playing very much. I didn't see much out of Higgins. Kirk's first game back, so I'm going to give him a pass. But luckily, Nico broke that, however long it was, 55-yard pass down the sideline there. But, man, that game, I had it on my side TV just because I had a lot of players in that game. And, Brian Thomas, we've talked about that. ETN, man, he saved his game because he got robbed of that 1-yard touchdown by Tootin. So just not a whole lot of fantasy out of that game. Really, really scaring me the amount of shares I had from that game yesterday.
Yeah.
Brian Thomas is another one that worries me a little bit. He's gone 3 consecutive weeks now without getting 10 points, and he had a touchdown in one of those games. It happened to be a rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
But
what are they doing with Hunter? I don't get. They're not even playing him.
Yeah, his snap share is depressing. He's only getting slot snaps. He's not even out wide. And
no, there was a name I mentioned today, and I still like him. I still didn't add him. I should have, but Parker Washington looks like a thing.
11 targets, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, he only caught 4, but he's had 6 targets the week before. They started getting him involved these last 2 weeks. I mean,
I think that De'Ami Brown's injury helped him out a little bit this week as well. I'm still not completely sold on Parker Washington. I don't know if I would add him, Joe. As a speculative ad, I suppose, on teams where you need wide receiver depth or maybe you're not strong at wide receiver. But I'm not completely sold on Parker Washington just yet because I do expect Liam Cohen to figure out how to get Brian Thomas more involved. We did hear about the wrist injury. I bring up the wrist injury. He when he has those 50-50 balls, he does seem hesitant to go up for them, in the 3 games that, from what I've seen compared to last year. Last year, he was just an absolute beast. What I'm hoping is that last year isn't the best season we've ever seen out of Brian Thomas. I hope that he can recoup some of that magic for sure. Let's see. Who else am I mean, Brian Thomas. Yeah. Josh. Anybody? Who do you want to talk about next?
Let's talk about that Baker magic yesterday. Like, man, the dude is just tough. Like, he's just a gamer, and he's a guy that I was not a fan of his. That last season that he played in Cleveland, he played so hurt the whole year and just kept getting up hit after hit. And man, he is fun to watch. And they're truly never out of the game. It feels like, as long as Baker's in there. I didn't hear on Mike Evans' hamstring injury on what the MRI showed today, how long he'd be out. I didn't get to see that, but I guess we got Godwin coming back soon, and but Igbuka's there. We'll see what they do, but Baker's tough, and he's a lot of fun to watch, and Garrett Wilson. So,
did you guys see Baker's press conference afterwards? Yeah, I've always been a Baker Mayfield fan. I'm so glad he found his place. And that he's killing it now with Tampa Bay. We saw Mike Evans with the hamstring injury. I'll bring that up. I seen a report today that it was a low grade, but I got to be honest with you. When the way it looked, I'm expecting a possible IR stint. At least a couple of games, 2 to 3 weeks. We've seen this from Mike Evans time in and time out again. I am a little bit worried about that. What else we got for Tampa Bay? Chris Godwin, you guys think I actually think he steps in and he's immediately involved. I as a wide receiver too. I do think it might take a week or 2 to get maximum production out of him. I think they might limit him a little bit initially. Maybe Cade Otton gets involved. Maybe Rashad White gets involved a little bit more. initially, but I'm kind of in on Godwin if he's there, while Mike Evans is out. Any thoughts on Ibuka now having to be in the wide receiver one? Do we see his production dip a little bit because he has to deal with top coverage, or are we just looking at the volume canceling that out? What are your thoughts on that, Dan?
I think I'm not worried about him being the number one. He's going to be a one soon enough anyway.
Yeah, right.
They've got enough Sterling Shepherds and Kate Ottens, like you said, that it's going to take some pressure away from him. You remember, was it last year, the year before that, Kate Otten went on a 4-game bender with Evans and Evans was up a little bit, Godwin was out for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ibuka, man, with volume, he's going to be solid. I don't think Mike was going to go on IR, but if he goes on IR, it'll definitely tell a different story.
Nice. We got Kala's audience tuning in. I love it. So Kala does a Beyond the Beat show on Friday night. I'll just be real quick with this. And she had Fatima. Fatima was our guest this past Friday, and what a great show. If you guys don't tune into that, man, I thought I would never like Zoom. My expectations were low on that as far as being interested in it. And every guest has been awesome. She interviews Zumba instructors and teachers, and they're just all have been they're all fantastic ladies. It's an inspirational show, and it's just a great interview show, and all positive vibes, and appreciate you for tuning in and saying hello. So much respect. They also have Sterling Shepard. Yeah, Sterling Shepard's definitely, if he's not rostered in your league, definitely go scoop him up. Kate Otten, another one. If you're having tight end issues, you might be able to stream him depending on the matchup. I would definitely look at the matchup before I commit to putting him in the lineup, but certainly an option. I want to move on to Arizona, and James Conner, it's unfortunate what happened with him. He's done for the year. Trey Benson is now going to step in and pretty much be the full-time guy. I'm not a fan of DeMarcado. I don't think that he's going to be fantasy relevant, so I wouldn't be trying to add him. But Trey Benson for sure is got an opportunity now. Josh, what are your thoughts on Trey Benson going forward?
I mean, what do we have? Did we get a couple in the rotos of Trey? Did we get it there?
We've got him 3 times, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. It's unfortunate that James went down, but I'm kind of looking forward to see what Trey Benson can do. I'd like to see some better quarterback play in Arizona.
He's got 10 targets in the last 2 weeks. That he's definitely going to be involved in the passing game too. He does have a tough matchup coming up going against Seattle's defense, which Seattle's defense looks phenomenal right now. But the volume's going to be there. I will say that. Joe, you have any thoughts on Arizona?
No, not really. I mean, just saying. McBride looks like the guy, and then Marvin Harrison dropped a wide open pass.
Are we worried about Marvin Harrison?
No, not really, because I ain't got nobody else. I mean,
I think you got to stick with him. If you have him on your roster, you just got to keep playing him and ride the roller coaster.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
We are have to be worried about Atlanta Falcons, though, right? They look
yes, good call, Joe. Talk about the Falcons.
Ain't much to say.
Michael Penix does not. He's definitely looking like he's struggling, and it's affecting Drake London too. A lot of people put high stock in Drake London. I seen a couple of guys push him up into the middle of the first round. One of the biggest drafts there is, the New York Super, and one of the best players we know, Billy Wasowski, took him at 6. Yeah, so the expectations for London were a third-year breakout, elite wide receiver, possible top 5, top 3 even wide receiver finish. And the way Michael Penix looks right now, I mean, the only player you can really trust. I mean, you're going to start Drake London. You're not going to bench Drake London, but the only player I'm feeling very confident in right now out of that offense is Bijan. You know, naturally, he's going to produce no matter what. Donnell Mooney, look, you know, he had let me see how many targets. He had 11 targets.
Mm-hmm.
You know, only turned it into 4 receptions for 44 yards. But, you know, he's getting, you know, just as many or more looks than Drake London. So that's a little bit alarming. If you know, for Michael Penix, do you guys think that they'll go to Kirk Cousins at any point?
Without an injury, I don't think you can. Like you've committed, you drafted the kid after paying Kirk Cousins this huge contract. Then you draft him, and then he gets his shot at the end of last season. And they had the opportunity to say, hey, we're going to go back with Kirk at the beginning of this year, and they didn't. So now I feel like if you pull Penix, put Kirk Cousins in, now you're going to crush any kind of confidence that he might have had. On the Drake London thing, though, I mean, he had a 40% target share, right? Like right at 40% target share with Michael Penix in that last 3 games of the season last year. So we all knew that wasn't going to hold true, but maybe it dropped to maybe you got like a 30% target share or something like that. So, I mean, I think that's still salvageable. They just kind of need to, I don't know. Penix has just got to reel it in. I felt like I saw some of that. I've talked to Dan about it before in the college football playoffs. It was like he got in a big game, and man, he had some bad targets. His accuracy looked a little bit suspect. But I mean, there's reasons why they drafted him as high as they did. So you got to stick with him.
I mean, the first game, Drake London had 15 targets, and he only had 8 receptions for 15 yards. You're talking about a 7-yard receiving average. That's clear. You know that's reflective on quarterback play. That's not Drake London doing that.
I mean, and you'll probably have this on for your show tomorrow, but I wonder how many of these balls are catchable balls that he's throwing. You know, how many of them are outside of the catch radius?
15 targets, 8 receptions, so that's half. He's missing half of those. That was week 1 against Tampa Bay. The next 2 weeks, he does have Washington and Buffalo, so maybe we could get a shootout, and we could get some fantasy points from the Atlanta offense. But man, maybe it's the division game. I do know that every time Atlanta goes to Carolina, it's like they forget how to play football. So the one thing I noticed, like the last 2 or 3 seasons. We got a question in the chat. So I was listening earlier. Shout out to Hoff. He did a reaction show and a real evil gopher. great name. He wants our thoughts on this. He's going to 12-man PPI as CD, Sutton, Rashee Rice, Quentin Johnston, Breece Hall, Tony Pollard, Trevion, Zach Charbonnet. He wants to know if we would trade Lamar and Pollard for Bijan. My answer is going to be the same as Hoff. Why is Pollard even part of this? If you know what I mean, I think that you should, if you're going to make the trade, Lamar for Bijan straight up is good enough. I mean, why throw in Pollard? I mean, yeah. If you're going to throw in a running back, throw in Charbonnet if he wants to throw in. I don't know. I mean, he did mention that Danny Dimes, I remember this from the chat earlier when I was listening, he did mention that Danny Dimes is a free agent. So that was his thinking. He can get Bijan and then pick up Danny Dimes as a quarterback. I don't hate that play, but given the running backs you have, Breece Hall, Pollard, Henderson, I mean, I would try to get the trade done without giving up Pollard. That's my advice. What's your thoughts on this, Josh?
My personal thought is, I mean, even if Danny Dimes is out there, like, there's no way I'm getting rid of Lamar Jackson, in my personal opinion. I just think you got to hang on to Lamar because and now watching him go out here and put up a dud tonight. But like that dude's ceiling is wherever, and he's playing good football. Like hang on to him. And if you're going to trade for some running backs, try to find some other pieces on your team to throw out there to, I mean, you wouldn't even be getting Bijan. I mean, you'd be selling super high on Lamar and getting Bijan. I don't know. I gotta hang tight with Lamar, I think.
Yeah, that's a good point, Josh, because the Atlanta offense just is. It's not where it needs to be right now as well.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I said, we just talked about how bad Atlanta was.
Yeah. And, I mean, if I was to make the trade, it would definitely have to be straight up. There's no reason Pollard would have to be in there. But yeah, hang on to Lamar.
I mean, elite quarterback with RB2 or RB3 production from a quarterback too, So,
another thing I remember is every week teams are getting more game film on what the Colts are doing with Danny Dimes. And a lot of that is piggybacking off of Jonathan Taylor's success. So Daniel Jones is good, but he's not Lamar. And I think the Colts they've got a good schedule. So, but I mean, I think I could see where Danny Dimes comes back down to earth. So,
right.
I like that. The entire if and running backs, not saying that they're going to get hurt, but running backs get hurt before quarterbacks get hurt. So if you make this trade and something happens to Bijan, then you're really screwed. You're out your elite running back and your elite quarterback. So definitely hold on to Lamar.
Plus, like we all just said, if Penix ain't going to beat you, these defense coordinators are going to make you throw. We're going to stack the box against Bijan. We're going to make Penix beat you. So,
all right. So we hit a question in the chat. We talked about some positives, some negatives. We got about 7 minutes till game time. Why don't we talk about tonight's game? I'm just going to throw my one take out there. He hasn't done anything yet this year, but if I'm doing a prop bet tonight, I'm including a Mark Andrews anytime touchdown. I expect this is to be a high total over 50 points for sure. And I think that Andrews finds pay dirt. That's my one take for tonight. Dan, we'll go to you. We'll go.
I threw a couple bucks on a Bateman touchdown tonight. I just feel like it's been a couple weeks. It's due. I'm really watching. We were talking off air. I was really watching golf tonight on the road Monday night. Have a lot of golf and a lot of St. Brown. Really hoping he can put together a good game on the road. I look for Laporta to have a really good game tonight. I look for him to have 5 or 6 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown. So some of the guys I'm watching. Joe, you got any player takes for tonight?
Yeah, I want to see if Zay Flowers keeps this up. Is he really he's kind of breaking out this year a little bit too. We'll see if he keeps this going. But now, if y'all remember, didn't Baltimore blow them out last year, didn't they? Or 2 years ago? They beat Detroit pretty good. So this could be maybe a blowout again. I don't know. Golf outside. So
it isn't. Yeah, it is in Baltimore. I was just going to say it's not in Detroit. So, but
yeah.
I mean, I still see a shootout. I think Goff's a pretty safe play tonight as well.
Yeah, I like him too. Yeah, he's good. But
Josh, any takes on any player takes for tonight's game?
I actually right before we went live, I placed the Mark Andrews anytime touchdown bet. I do like him to get involved tonight, but we'll see what happens. But I'll throw this out there because my son Jacob Childers, he keeps commenting in the comments. He says Jameson Williams first TD tonight, so that's the way he's going, and he's pretty sharp. So I'll see. We'll see what happens there. See if he wins that one.
is going to come out fire, and I like it.
Mhm.
We got a winner, Josh. Who are you picking to win this game?
I gotta go with the Ravens being in Baltimore and just as tough as they've been playing. Their defense has been suspect. Their defense has been a little bit suspect, and I mean, Lions offense looked really good last week. So let's see which Lions team we get this week.
Nice. I'm gonna go with. I'm actually gonna pick the Lions. I'm gonna go with the underdog. I think that they can find a way to contain Derrick Henry. They'll have a chance to win this game. That's pretty much how I see it. Their run defense has generally been good. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that as my pick. I'll pick the Lions. Dan?
I'm not betting this, but if I was betting it, I think I'd go Detroit in the points in the under. 53.5 is a huge over for Monday Night Football. If it starts out slow, I like the Lions to cover. I like the under. I never bet the under. It's not fun to watch.
Nice. And Joey?
I think Baltimore win, but I think you have to have a big game out of David Montgomery. Keep that offense over on the side, out of Gibbs and Montgomery. I think you're going to keep Baltimore over there, kind of then, he'll want to run it a lot. I think Montgomery could have a good game tonight.
Nice. So time of possession will be key.
To keep back, yeah, I think so. In order to pull this off.
I hope it's not 13 points good. Just for a friend.
Nice. Yeah, if you got a small lead tonight, man, I wouldn't feel good about it.
No,
especially if you don't have anything to counter it with.
No, I have nobody going tonight. You're just hoping to get in the top 6 of these 2 leagues,
Nice. All right. Well, we're gonna get out of here. Game's about to start. Thanks you guys for coming on and giving you week 3 reactions, joining the show. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. Pete, appreciate you for reposting that. That was great, man. You're a great friend, great analyst. Really appreciate you. You guys have anything else to add before we get out of here?
One thing, do we add Jackson Dart yet?
I've already have in some spots. Speculative ad. He has rushing ability for sure. I think he's got a true number one target in Malik Nabers. I think Malik Nabers is probably begging for him after yesterday's game. So yeah, I don't mind in deeper leagues. Obviously, if you have a short bench, he's not worth an ad just yet. But deeper leagues, 10-man bench, even 8-man bench, and your team is good, and you're rolling with a shitty backup quarterback or a backup quarterback that maybe has lost a little bit of value, like Michael Penix or J.J. McCarthy or even Kyler Murray. I would consider adding, not necessarily cutting Kyler Murray, but add Jackson Dart as a little stash for sure. I like that. Sneaky play, Joe. Good call. And that's pretty much it. I'll plug tomorrow night's show. Tomorrow night on Aces Up, we have William Stevenson and Steve D'Angelo from Face Off. We're gonna this will be William's first time guest, so he'll go through the interview, the fantasy background interview, and then we'll bring Steve on. The show's at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, by the way. We'll bring on Steve D'Angelo at 9 p.m. We're going to go over, me and Steve have 2 high stakes teams that we split. We're going to go over our rosters. We'll probably, I don't know if we'll do waivers on air, but we'll talk about potential waiver wire targets. We'll go through more in depth some of the usage numbers over the week, over this past Sunday's games, kind of like we did last week with Josh and Dan and you guys. Joe, you were there last week too. It'll be a similar type of show, and we'll start it out by evaluating me and Steve's teams. Then we'll go through the games. So tune in tomorrow night, if you're not subscribed to the Sports Affiliation, definitely do that. We have shows every single night. I talked about Carla's show on Friday. She does another show on Wednesday. Great show, Game Changers. I believe this week she might have Stefania Bell on. I think if it's not this week, it's next week. But good shows every week, every day. Sorry, and that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for joining me on the show tonight. Once again.
Thanks for having us.
And enjoy tonight's game. We're out of here.
Thanks, Joe.